Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI, Conversations Without Barriers. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. I hope everybody's enjoying their weekend. It is Sunday. It is December the 1st. It is 5 p.m. The last day of the American long weekend of your Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, enjoyed the company of your loved ones. Thanksgiving is a nice time for people to gather and get together um, for that festive holiday. And of course, what is it? 24 more days. It's going to be Christmas Day. Can't even believe we're even that close to Christmas already. The end of the year is coming. Soon it'll be 2025. Wow. So I was out here earlier this morning and I started my show something like at 8:40 in the morning and stuff like that. And I just felt compelled to come back out here to get another show in because there's certain things that irk me. And I've talked about it before on one of my episodes. That here in London, Ontario, Canada, where I reside, the city council, the mayor, they do not have a winter response plan in place for the homeless this winter. And it really irked me that the mayor comes on the news and he says, well, we don't have that winter response plan in place this winter. Unfortunately, there's going to be people left out in the cold this year, this winter. I just sat back for a second and I thought to myself, what the hell have you been doing? Over the summer months, coming into fall, you know, we have winter every year. We have 4 seasons. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. That doesn't change. We get really cold here in Canada. It's cold out now. I think it's something like -4 and we got a wind chill. So it feels like something like -10. So we don't have a winter response plan in place for the homeless. So the cost of doing nothing on a human perspective, the cost of doing nothing for the homeless in London, Ontario, especially during winter, is significant on a human level without a response plan. Individuals experiencing homeless face life-threatening conditions due to extreme cold and exposure. And this can lead to increased health issues, including hypothermia, frostbite, and respiratory problems. Moreover, the lack of shelter and support can increase mental health issues and substance abuse, leading to a higher risk of injury or death. The social implications are also profound, as individuals without stable housing often face isolation, stigma, and the lack of access to essential services. In the long term, the cost of not addressing homelessness can lead and have a strain on the public health and social services. Public health and social services, as the emergency rooms and hospitals become the primary care providers for those without shelter. Now, the individual has to go to the hospital for treatment. It may have to be staying there for a couple of days, 3 days, a week, depending on the situation. It could be longer. But then upon discharge, there is no plan in place. So where does the individuals go? Right back to the streets, right back to the encampments. And only then, in some point in time, and they will return back to the emergency department. Or be carried off in a body bag. This not only impacts the individuals directly affected, but also places a burden on the healthcare system and the community as a whole. It's crucial to have a comprehensive winter response plan to ensure the safety and well-being of all residents, especially the most vulnerable. The disparity between those with stable housing and those without, while it's understandable that businesses and community members face challenges, it's crucial to recognize that the homeless population is in a far more precarious situation. So, here are a few points that might help bridge this understanding and garner more support for homelessness initiatives. Emphasize shared humanity. Remind everyone that homeless are people first, each with their own stories, struggles, and dreams. Emphasizing empathy can help shift perspectives from seeing the homeless as a problem to a managed to people in need of support. Community benefits highlight how addressing homeless benefits the entire community. Reducing homelessness can lead to a safer, healthier, and more vibrant downtown area, which ultimately benefits businesses and residents. So, in the downtown core, we have social services. We have the inner community center that provides services. We have the Unity Project, which is a homeless shelter. We have the Arcade Mission Services, which is providing an overnight shelter, which in usually it's not, but the need is there because even the mission services, the men's mission, and the women's mission services, all those shelters are full to capacity. Now, some people who are homeless, they don't want to go to a shelter. They have their reasons why they don't want to go to a shelter. So they make an encampment. If we had provided more areas and places where they could have a place of rest, because the encampments they have become a community, and I think if that community that encampment, if they were moved into a safe space together, they wouldn't be afraid. Now, I mentioned before on my show, so back in 2015, 2016, I volunteered at the Unity Project in the downtown core. Getting firsthand of what it looks like inside a homeless shelter, how the homeless shelter is ran, the staff, the people who seek out those services, the homeless. And I can tell you this, You have nothing to fear but fear itself. You don't need to fear homeless people. So the need of the support of the community benefits highlight how addressing homelessness benefits the entire community. Reducing homelessness can lead to a safer, healthier, and more vibrant downtown area, which ultimately benefits businesses and residents, encourage collaborative efforts between businesses and community members and local government. By working together, they can develop solutions that support both the homeless population and the economic vitality of the downtown core. We can advocate for increased support services such as mental health care, addiction treatment, and job training, which can help homeless individuals regain stability and reintegrate into the community. We can propose transitional housing options that provide a pathway from homelessness to permanent housing. This can include temporary shelters with robust support services aimed at helping individuals achieve long-term stability. Addressing not in my backyard or NIMBYism attitudes. Highlight the moral and ethical imperative to support those in need and the long-term benefits of a compassionate approach by fostering a sense of shared responsibility and highlighting the potential benefits for both community and businesses. Because it is possible to create a more inclusive and supportive solution to homelessness. I don't think it can be said any better than that. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to bring it up here on my phone because that's where it is. And okay, it's back here just a little bit, not far. Okay. It's an email that I am going to send to the city councilors of London, Ontario, where I reside. Now, I don't live far from the downtown core. And I don't have to live far from the downtown core to see homelessness in my community. I see it every day. I see it when I go down the road to the local coffee shop, Tim Hortons. Go in there and get a coffee in the morning. I see it in the early mornings when I'm leaving to go to work. There's people just walking around aimlessly. So here is my email. Tell me what you think. I'm writing to express my deep concern about the lack of winter response plan for the homeless in our community. As winter approaches, the need for adequate shelter and support becomes even more critical. The cost of doing nothing is not only measured in financial terms, but in the human lives at risk. Without a proper plan in place, individuals experience homelessness or exposed to life-threatening conditions, including hypothermia, frostbite, and severe respiratory issues. And the harsh winter weather can increase existing health problems and lead to preventable tragedies. Our emergency service and hospitals will inevitably face increased pressure as those without shelter turn to them as a last resort. Moreover, the absence of support and shelter can worsen mental health conditions and substance abuse problems, leading to a cycle of despair and hopelessness. The social and emotional toll on individuals experiencing homelessness is immeasurable, contributing to a sense of isolation and stigma that further marginalizes them from our communities. Investing in a comprehensive winter response plan is not just a matter of public health and safety, but also a demonstration of our commitment to compassion and human dignity. Providing temporary shelters, warming centers, and essential services can save lives and reduce the long-term cost associated with emergency care and social services. I urge you to consider the human cost of inaction and to prioritize the development and implementation of a winter response plan for the homeless in London. Together, we can ensure that everyone in our community has the chance to stay safe and warm during the harsh winter months. Thank you for your attention to this urgent matter. That is the email that I'm going to send. Do you like it? I like it. I think it sends a clear message that one of their constituents is taking a stand. I mean, I was practically floored when the mayor of the city of London, Ontario says, "Oh, we don't have a winter response plan in place this year." What the hell do we our taxes pay for? What the hell are we paying you to do? Yeah, we got infrastructure problems. Yeah, we're dealing with that. We got construction all over the city. I got a detour everywhere just to get out of the city, just to get to work. Same thing, vice versa, coming back in. Then there's heavier traffic coming back into the city, and I got a detour around everything to get the hell around the construction to get home. It takes me an hour and 15 minutes to get home. And it takes me an hour to get to work. Difference is traffic. So that's on their agenda, getting all these projects done. Fine, they're already in place. They're all already meant to happen. And then when they get one section done or one project done, boom, up pops another one. From the beginning of spring all the way now into the fall and coming into winter, it's just road construction everywhere. I understand you got to spend money on infrastructure, but we also have to have money as well to help the most vulnerable people. They're humans too. And then when I hear communities and businesses saying, "Oh, our business are in peril because of the homeless downtown core," your businesses are in peril? Compared to the homeless? I beg to differ. The homeless people, their lives are in peril. And for some to be able to survive this winter is not good. It's not good at all. Your business will survive this winter. You're not going to close. Then I see new businesses open up downtown in that core of where the shelters are and the services are. I mean, you as an individual, and you're looking to start a small business, and you have the product, it's going to sell. You're looking for a high traffic area. You choose the downtown core. You go downtown because it's cheaper. The rent's cheaper than opening up a store in a mall or a strip mall. So you peruse the area. Well, what do we have downtown? Who am I competing against? Who am I going to compete against? Oh, we have a homeless shelter here. Oh, we have the Arcade Mission Services here. Across the road there we have the Inner Community Center. Oh, business must be doing pretty good down here. Well, let's just open up a business. And then we wanted, and then the downtown business improvement association, to say, well, why don't we put services other places in the city? Why is it all just down here? Well, the Arcade Mission Services has been there for 40 years. The Unity Project has been there for 20, 25 years. The Inner Community Center has been there for about 20 years. Mission Services, a few blocks away, has been there for as long as I can remember. This is where these services are, in the downtown core. So I suggest we put it other places in the city. Other communities should be taking responsibility. So how do we get other parts of the city and communities to take responsibility? What are we going to hear back from other communities? Not in my backyard. That's what we're going to hear. I mean, if I was in a community where tent encampments are, and I hear the mayor of the city turn around and say, we don't have a winter response plan, I'd be at City Hall the next day saying, what the hell? These people need help. Lately, I have been. You got to give me one quick second here. I've been doing a lot of reading and really educating myself on the homeless matter. So, give me 1 second. So I've taken the initiative to get some books. The one book that I finished is called When We Walk By, written by Jack Hughes. You can get that at your local bookstore. You can get that on Amazon. Picked up another book. It's called The Tenant Class. It's about rental and how expensive it is. The other book that I'm reading right now, I'm only on chapter 4. I got to get reading it. I think there's only maybe 2 chapters to go, and I'm surprised I'm not even finished it yet. Ending Homelessness in Canada, the case for homelessness prevention. And another book that I just got, written by Jack Layton, Homelessness, How to End the National Crisis. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm reading. And then doing all other kind of research and everything else like that. So that email that I just read to you, that's what I'm going to send out to the city councilors. I would like to sit down with the city councilors one by one. Make up an appointment time, convenient for the both of us. Have a one-on-one conversation. I can't make it to their community meetings because they have them in the weekday during the morning or the afternoon, and I'm at work. So I can't go there and voice my opinion. I am opinionated. That's for sure. I think I take that after my mother. And I most certainly can say what's on my mind. But by saying that in a respectful manner, because you got to remember who you're addressing because you want them to listen to you. You don't want to be flying off the handle. You don't want to be using foul language. You want to be banging your hand on the table. When you have town hall meetings and you're discussing an issue and stuff like that, you always get somebody there that just stands up and just loses their shit. Right? Doesn't help. Doesn't help. Doesn't help the matter at all. When people do that, then you end up getting tossed out of the town hall meeting. There's no point of going there, hot-headed, throwing your demands down. No, you got to do it in a professional manner. Yeah, it troubles me. It really does. It troubles me that the City of London doesn't have a winter response plan in place. And that really needs to be addressed. They're sending out their city budget for 2025, I think 2025, 26 fiscal years. Taxes are going up for services, obviously. How much money did they give to the social services who are addressing the homeless, who are helping the homeless, who are going out there to these encampments with food and water and clothing and blankets and everything that they need? And then the shelters. Yes, they get funded from other places, but places like the Arcade Mission Services, who essentially are not a homeless shelter, who's acting as one right now because the need is there, and taking that initiative. And my hat goes off to the CEO, which, by the way, I'm trying to get on my show. And we're just missing one another somehow. And I got to figure out, how can we better contact one another. I don't want to pick up the phone and call her. I know how busy she is. But I'd love to have her on my show. She's asking for money from the city. The federal government, this $250 million plan they're putting together to help, cities and communities to address encampments. So the city of London is getting $5 million. How much of this money, so the city, they have full control of that money. What are they going to do with it? If the Arcade Mission Services doesn't get more funding past December 31st, then they will have to close those 30 beds at the Arcade Mission Services. But the arcade would still be able to operate because they get funding from other sources. So then they would just going back to being, at lunchtime, offering snacks and coffee and tea, and just a place for rest, to get warm, and not act as a shelter, where it's really essential that we really need those 30 beds. The Unity Project homeless shelter in that downtown core too is looking for an expansion because the need is there. Would they get any any of the funding out of this $5 million. Or they'll have to look at other resources. Let's just wait and see. But we're sitting with a council here that are divided on this issue. And I don't think this is the now, or this is the time to be divided on the homeless crisis. This is the time to come together and come up with a comprehensive plan to address it. When I hear city councilors saying a hard no to more funding for safe space, that really troubles me. It really does. They can be, divided on other issues. I mean, city councilors, when they have their meetings, that happens all the time. But when it comes down to the human narrative and the cost of doing nothing, that's alarming. So I will be, when I'm done this show, stuff like that, I'll be sending this email out. Maybe get a response back. I don't know. I just have to be a wait and see. So, like I said, I did a show this morning at 8:40 a.m. And like I said, I come out this evening, which I normally don't come out on a Sunday evening, but I really felt compelled to do so. And I thank you for joining me. So my next show isn't going to be until next Saturday morning at 8:30 in the morning, and Sunday morning at 8:30 in the morning. And if I feel compelled to come back out, if I have any new information, I send that email out and I get a response back. And then, then I can say, hey, I got a response back. This is what they said. So enjoy the rest of your evening, ladies and gentlemen, and have a safe week. And if you can join me next Saturday morning and next Sunday morning, that'd be great. If you can't, I understand. So until the next time, take care and be safe. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI, Conversations Without Barriers. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. Good night, everyone, and thank you.